temporarily. It was his daughter's fault, of course. They'd run so many good men off the ranch, the pool from which to choose had gotten too small. He'd chosen wrong last time, and nearly gotten his girls killed. The knowledge still stung. That's when the general decided he needed a more permanent solution. He'd created the task force, sent Navy SEAL Brian Lake to marry Cass, and that had worked out just fine. He'd sent para-rescueman Connor O'Reilly to marry Sadie, and that had worked out too. He'd sent Navy SEAL sniper Hunter Powell next, and today Hunter was marrying his youngest, Joe, which meant it was Logan's turn to head to Two Willows, although the general shared some of Corporal Meyer's misgivings. "Well?" he asked when the corporal didn't answer. "Permission to speak freely, sir." "Always," the general sighed. Myers was a little too punctilious for his tastes sometimes. "Hughes isn't the kind of man Lena wants." The general straightened in surprise. "What do you know about what Lena wants?" Hell, was the man blushing? The general leaned forward. What was wrong with his corporal? "I don't know much at all. It's just from what you've said, and her photographs." He waved a hand at the photos on the wall, which depicted all the female members of the general's family. The general understood. In most of them, Lena's expression ranged from focused to, well, fierce. "Logan Hughes is more of a man than he lets on." The general hoped he was right, because God help them all if Logan wasn't. "He's a good man. You've got to give him a chance." "You think Lena is going to give him a chance?" "Begging your pardon, sir." "I said you could speak freely, Corporal." The general rubbed his chin. He looked at the documents on his desk, detailing the itinerary of his upcoming trip to Asia and the Middle East. He was getting too old for these jaunts. They used to energize him, but this time he wished... The general shook off the traitorous thoughts. He was far from old, and far from done with his career. He was simply unsettled by the violence that had plagued Two Willows recently. His daughters, and the men he'd sent to marry them, had faced off with a pack of drug dealers trying to make a move on Two Willows 3 times now. He'd like to think the matter was settled, but he doubted it. And then there was the matter of his grandchild. Cass was pregnant, and the thought of that baby was troubling him. Bad enough his daughters kept getting themselves into dangerous situations. A baby needed to be protected. And a baby made him think of his wife. Amelia would have loved grandchildren if she'd lived long enough to see them. He cleared his throat. "Hughes will convince her to give him a chance," he said to Myers. "Send him in." Myers looked like he had more to say, but he retreated to the door, disappeared through it, and came back followed by a huge, barrel-chested Marine. "Morning, General," Hughes said. The general surveyed him, took in his short-cropped light brown hair, direct blue-eyed gaze, massive biceps, and semi-aggressive stance. Hughes was a man who took up all the space in a room when he entered it. If he'd just shut up once in a while, he might have made a hell of a career in the military. As it was, he'd done fine, up until the day he'd punched the lights out of a sergeant major. That was 6 months ago. Hughes claimed he'd done it to break up a domestic dispute between the major and his wife. The major and his wife had a different take. The whole affair had been hushed up quickly for the sake of the assaulted man, his marriage, and his reputation. Hughes found himself looking at a premature end to his military career. The general had seized the opportunity to add another man to his task force. "Ready to head to Montana?" the general asked. "All packed, sir." "And you understand your mission?" Hell, was the fucker grinning? The muscles in the general's jaw tightened. "Subdue your daughter, sir. Lock her up in chains of matrimony. Hand back your ranch. Proceed to enjoy the hell out of myself, sir." Jesus Christ.